We're reimagining curriculum, not as a list of topics or assignments, but as a designed cognitive journey that builds confidence, reasoning, and mastery one level at a time. This is the Learner Journey Framework. It's not a template, it's not an update, it's a transformation of how we think about learning, how we design it, and how we measure it. Because when curriculum is built around how learners actually think, they don't just complete courses, they grow through them. Traditional course design often focuses on what learners do: write a paper, pass a quiz, post to a discussion board, but not how they think while doing it. The result? Learners are asked to perform complex reasoning they've never had a chance to practice. They hit what we call the cognitive cliff, that moment when the task demands more thinking than they've been prepared to do. The Learner Journey Framework closes that gap. It rebuilds curriculum around cognitive development, not content coverage, creating a clear, measurable pathway from comprehension to confident professional reasoning. The Learner Journey Framework stands on 5 interconnected pillars. Each one addresses a critical part of how learning is designed, supported, measured, and sustained. Together, they form a system that's structured, equitable, and durable. Pillar number 1, cognitive sequencing, the path of reasoning. Cognitive sequencing is the backbone of the learner journey. In this model, every course is a cognitive progression, not a list of topics. Each competency defines the final level of thinking a learner must demonstrate. Every module learning objective represents one mapped thinking step along the way. For every competency, learners begin at Bloom's Level 2, foundational thinking, and progress through each level, 3, 4, 5, or even 6, until they reach the cognitive level of the competency. No steps are skipped. Each level represents a distinct reasoning pattern that learners must practice before the next. This is what eliminates cognitive gaps. Learners move through comprehension, application, analysis, and evaluation in sequence, mastering each before the next. Pillar number 2, embedded scaffolding, safe spaces to practice. Scaffolding is how we make cognitive sequencing achievable. Embedded scaffolding means learners have structured, repeated, and safe opportunities to practice reasoning at every level before being assessed. Each scaffold is a designed space for cognitive rehearsal, where learners can test ideas, make mistakes, and refine their thinking without penalty. The number and type of scaffolds are intentional. At level 2, learners might have multiple concept checks to confirm understanding. At level 3, guided applications. At level 4, structured comparisons or reasoning exercises. At level 5, decision-based scenarios that mirror authentic practice. Tools like H5P make this interactivity real, turning content into thinking spaces where learners receive immediate feedback on how they reason, not just whether they're right. Scaffolding isn't remediation. It's the system that builds durable confidence. Repetition with reasoning, not repetition with recall. Pillar number 3, aligned assessment, measuring thinking, not tasks. Aligned assessment ensures that everything learners practice is what they'll be asked to perform. Each formative activity and summative assessment is aligned to the same cognitive level and reasoning process. Early assessments confirm comprehension and application. Later assessments measure evaluation and synthesis. At the highest levels, we use decision-based simulations, authentic scenarios where learners make choices, apply standards, justify reasoning, and experience consequences. Assessment alignment builds trust. Learners always know why they're doing what they're doing, and faculty know exactly what kind of thinking they're measuring. Pillar number 4, institutional consistency, a shared cognitive language. Institutional consistency ensures every learner experiences the same cognitive clarity and structure across courses, sections, and programs. It doesn't mean identical content. It means a shared design logic. Every course starts at level 2. Every competency has a mapped cognitive progression, and every assessment measures the type of reasoning taught. This consistency creates equity. Learners can predict the pattern of learning, faculty can teach with confidence, and the entire institution speaks the same cognitive language. Pillar 5, institutional stability, making it last. Institutional stability ensures the system doesn't depend on individuals, it depends on the framework. Because when the logic is clear and codified, the framework endures. Courses can evolve, but the cognitive design stays intact. Faculty collaboration strengthens it. Students recognize it. That's how learning becomes reliable, equitable, and sustainable, no matter who teaches, what changes, or how technology evolves. Now that you've seen the pillars, let's talk about the engine that makes them work. Bloom's taxonomy, redefined for cognitive design. In traditional course design, Bloom's is often misused, reduced to a list of verbs or difficulty levels. But in the learner journey framework, Bloom's isn't about tasks, it's about how learners think. We don't assign Bloom's levels based on what students do. We assign them based on how they reason through a concept. Here's how we define it. Level 2, foundational thinking, explaining or describing how something works. Level 3, applied thinking, using knowledge in structure, guided situations. Level 4, relational thinking, breaking concepts into smaller pieces to understand how those pieces interact. Level 5, evaluative thinking, weighing options and making a reasoned decision using standards or evidence. Level 6, creative thinking, synthesizing knowledge to design something new. Bloom's in this model defines the kind of thinking expected, not how long or complex the task is. A discussion, a paper, or a simulation could exist at any level, depending on how it's framed. That's why every objective, activity, and assessment now begins with one design question. What kind of reasoning do we want learners to show here? This redefinition of Bloom's changes everything. Curriculum now looks fundamentally different because it's built on thinking, not on doing. Under the learner journey framework, courses are designed as visible, measurable journeys of reasoning. Here's what that means. Competencies define the final reasoning pattern a learner must master. Module objectives map each step of that reasoning, from level 2 up to the competencies level. Content and scaffolds are selected and placed to support the cognitive level of each module. Assessments measure reasoning through authentic application, not task completion. Curriculum now reads like a mental progression, not a topic outline. It's cleaner, more connected, and more intentional. Faculty will notice fewer objectives, deeper alignment, and assessments that genuinely show how thinking grows. Learners will notice that every activity connects. Every step prepares them for the next. It's learning that feels like progress. The learner journey framework is powerful because it builds thinking intentionally. It gives every learner an equitable path to success, one that's transparent, structured, and human. It gives every faculty member a shared language for reasoning and assessment. And it gives the institution a sustainable, scalable design system that works across programs and disciplines. When the framework is applied fully, we don't just deliver education. We design cognitive growth, measurable, equitable, and lasting. This is how we move from courses that teach content to courses that build thinkers. This is the learner journey framework, built for thinking, built for belonging, built for lasting impact.